Hello and welcome to this week's tarot reading for all fire signs. I hope this finds you well. I trust you'll use your own intuition as your primary instrument of resonance. Leave behind what does not reverberate. Tarot does not tell the future. The only thing that determines your future is how you react, reflect, and respond to the messages herein. The card that I have in front of me is from the I Ching Oracle, which deals with the Chinese Book of Thought, the Book of Changes. And here we find the number 44 card, which is the ego, and it is also the little brother as well. And this hexagram talks about the root chakra in that we try to find security in these dramatic kind of ways that are actually rooted in fear. Our security, instead of being in confidence, is rooted in fear. And the fear comes through our own gratification or emotional or irrational means, or primal or instinctive things, and they can end up taking us over in many ways. And these natures of the root chakra, we need them, of course, but there comes a time when the dark kind of overtakes the light of the root chakra, and everything is in duality in this world, and the root chakra is much the same. And like I said, the root should be in confidence, not in fear. That security comes from knowing oneself and knowing one's true nature. And you have to meet in the middle here, because there is obviously this duality, this polarity that happens here, and you can't totally emancipate yourself from the dark that is within you. And it's that story of the wolves in the one of the legends, the white wolf and the black wolf, and everybody is too afraid to feed the dark wolf, and that's kind of what we end up doing in our lives, is that we start to fear these habits or these irrational fears, or these emotional reactions, and these primal desires. We start to fear them and demonize them and shove them down in a box, and we starve them out. But that actually just makes them more ferocious and even more dangerous in a way. And that root chakra is really imbalanced, and thus imbalancing everything else on top of it. So and the legend goes that one of the warriors was like, well, I have to have the courage to feed this dark wolf, otherwise it will destroy everything. And he sacrificed his hand, and the equilibrium has to be restored at some point. So that's kind of what this I Ching is about, is the root of the root chakra, essentially. And we see that here as the yin line at the bottom of all these yang lines, and that yin line is super volatile. It's the chaos, it's that dark wolf, it's the daemon, so to speak. And if it is just running amok and causing all this distress, then the yang lines start to express themselves in really detrimental ways. So this I Ching is essentially about getting the root chakra in order, and really finding that stability and that security, not through fear, but through something more meaningful than that. And the other cards that I have here are the Moon card in reverse and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So again, there's this fear that is kind of sitting in here, And yeah, below the surface, the moon, I just see it as like the dark moon. And the Nine of Pentacles is linked to the Empress card in that it's an independent woman, in the garden, and there's just this sense of insecurity here that's kind of happening. And when the moon card came up, it's actually from the Thoth deck that I have here, and when it came up I thought it was the Aeons card for some reason, but then from another deck, the World card, which is the Aeons card, actually came up. So this is a big turning point, a almost oscillation from the moon, the dark side of the moon, to the bright side of the moon here, going around the world. Does the moon go around the world? I can't remember. I should probably know that, but yeah, the moon goes around the world, right? Yeah, it rotates around us. I'm like sitting here like doubting myself now. Science. Great astrologer, clearly. But there's just this rotation kind of happening that I'm seeing here, that this moon card is just going to move from, being the dark side to the light side here, respectively. And again, it won't always be the light side and the dark side. You have to have that equilibrium, but there is that confidence there, being able to go out into the world when the moon is bright and full. It's being out in the world, experiencing and being confident. And yeah, that oscillation around the world, the cycle that's kind of happening here. But we also have the Three of Swords and the Nine of Swords here, and I just see they're both in reverse, so I just see this heartache, this strife, this stress kind of coming to an end, but it's going to take quite a bit of effort here as well. We have the Mars card and the Neptune card, so really slicing through illusions, allusions, delusions, and everything that kind of comes with Neptune as well, mental health, mental instability, isolated places, and Mars really cutting through there. And we see Mars in Gemini here on the Nine of Swords. So just going back to the little brother thing from the number 44 hexagram, the little brother Gemini is the siblings, the third house. So really looking at the third house, and Mars is here again. So somebody in your family who's masculine, who's male, reconciling there with them, and also realizing that nobody is really coming to save you. We have the King of Swords here and the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is in reverse. So you have to assume that position of the King of Swords and realize that there is no knight in shining armor that's coming for you. You have to be the king of the domain. You have to make those decisions. You have to really get with the program and train your intellect, and find that equilibrium too, because it's the King of Swords, and air is the equalizing principle. And we see the swords here 3 times, and then the world is holding a baton, or 2 batons, and she's floating in the air. So air is kind of coming up again, but really trying to get that independence, that stability back through confidence and knowing yourself, and really understanding these 2 wolves, or these 2, the light and the dark that is within each of us, and reconciling them. And is there like a tombstone on this? Number 44 card. I don't know if all these I Ching are the same. No, they're not in the picture. They're all different. That's good to know. There's like a tombstone. It's like a pilgrimage. This man's like walking up these stairs with some sort of, those like rods that they put stuff on either end, and then they put it on their shoulders and they carry it. He's carrying that up some stairs, and then I thought it was a tombstone, but thinking that, looking at this properly, it's actually like a pillar or some sort of, gosh, what is the word? Some sort of, let's just call it a tombstone. It's some sort of stone that has religious value to it. Gosh, now I'm really annoyed that I don't know what it's called. Anyway, he's obviously going up the stairs on a pilgrimage to, pay homage to, the spiritual side. And it looks a little bit difficult, his climb that he has to do, but yeah, so Mars and Neptune really coming into this reading, seeing where Mars is as well in your chart, and Neptune if you're into the Western astrology, and also the moon. What's the moon doing in your chart at this time? What houses is it traversing as you listen to this reading? And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you for listening. Bye.